Awesome. I'll get right into it, and I'll allow Talkables to sort of introduce itself.
Hey, I'm back. How can I help you?
Hey, can you show us the agenda for today's meeting?
Absolutely. Here's the agenda for today's meeting. It covers what Talkables is, a live demo, and then a Q&A session.
Amazing. Can you show us the hosts for today's call?
Sure thing. The hosts for today's call are Brannon Santos, who is the CEO and co-founder, and Ben Henson, the CRO and co-founder.
Cool. And then show us what Talkables is. Tell us what it is.
Talkables transforms documents like PDFs and slides into interactive conversations. This means your audience can engage directly with the content, asking questions.
It heard itself speak in my microphone. I have it too loud on my end. But that should hopefully give you a good example of what we're doing with Talkables. I loaded that deck in. Andy gave that to me just in advance of this meeting. It's just a couple slides to kick us off. But you can see that dragging and dropping this PDF in, the very first thing that Peel does is extract meaning from the contents of the deck so it can speak eloquently to it. You saw it zoom in and zoom out and go to different pages because it knows where each of these content pieces are and it knows what's inside of them. And this is how we bring your content to life, and we hopefully do it very proudly. You guys have spent so much time creating these decks, and putting a lot of thought leadership and resources into making these beautiful. We're just taking those and putting an agent on top of it, allowing a vocal interaction to take place. And we're tying into the senses of the human participant on the other end, getting them to listen and speak as the agent visually guides them through the deck and the experience, making for memorable, lasting experiences. Ben and I, carried bags for a long time, and we would get content download leads given to us, from our marketing team and us as salespeople. The number one thing that we would hear when we would call on those folks was, "I don't remember downloading that." And if you talk to any of your sellers, that's still true today. Content marketing hasn't changed much in the last 10 or 15 years. And what we're doing is up leveling that. And I think what we're doing with AI is a great use of AI to engage on a conversation right on your content, educating and enabling those prospects, customers, or internal reps, and driving towards next steps together. I actually wanted to ask the audience if anybody could share one of their PDFs, and I can go ahead and plug that into Talkables to show you how that experience lives. We, of course, have some that we can use, but I think it's always more interesting if there's something crowdsourced from you all. So if you have one, please drop it into chat. I believe Zoom chat's capable of taking files. The first person that wants to do that, and it's a 10 page or 20 page or even larger document, we'd be happy to provide a month's free pilot for the person that drops one in. And again, I've got a bunch if nobody has one at the ready. But Andy, maybe you can let me know if you see anything come into chat for that. All right, we'll go ahead and add a PDF in here to show you how we build these talkable experiences. Really, all you have to do is drag and drop your PDFs into Talkables, and the process will begin. We'll begin analyzing the document, drawing those bounding boxes I was showing a moment ago. That typically does take a couple minutes, and we'll email you when it's finished if it is taking a long time. But there's some work that we can do in advance of it being finished. We can make sure that the entry form, if you are going to use the entry form, looks beautiful and on brand. We also integrate with Marketo, HubSpot, Pardot, and many of the other forms that you guys are likely leveraging to gate your content. We can integrate with those and allow somebody to fill out those forms and accelerate right into the talkable experience and get them speaking with your content. If you don't use those, no worries. We've got an amazing form that's dynamic and configurable that you can leverage for that. So just like that, I am good with my form. Now I'll go ahead and put in some learning objectives. So just as we couldn't talk to content yesterday, really before Talkables, you couldn't learn from the participants that were engaging with your content as they read it. Now you can. This is the ability for the agent to ask the participant some strategic questions as they are engaging with the content. So I want to learn about about their role and responsibilities, about their department as it relates to the paper's topic, and if they want to have a demo with the onboard team in this case. So with that prompt, I'm going to generate some learning objectives. And this is the secret mission, as we like to say, that the agent will be on as it is educating and sharing the contents of the doc with a person. I'll go to the next page and we will be able to see those bounding boxes being drawn over the content. And again, I will get an email when it's all finished with it, and I'm able to preview it on myself, of course, before I share it externally. And when we're happy with it and we've engaged with it and it's performing to the caliber that you would like it to, what we always recommend is sending this internally to your marketing team and to your sales team. As a seller, I would often see a new lead come across and they may be engaged with a new piece of content and I didn't even engage with that content yet. So how am I supposed to carry a good conversation and run a good sales campaign with that prospect if I'm not enabled first? This is a great way and an easy way to engage and enable your internal team right before this drops to your market. Looks like this one will take a bit of time to fully analyze. It's a big doc and has a lot of imagery. It's beautiful. And I will get an email when it's finished. So let me go to one that we already have completed. As you can see, we've got a bunch of documents in here. I will go to one of our favorite ones, which is the Talkables Explainer deck. It's a little meta, of course, because we're demoing Talkables, we're explaining what Talkables is, but it's a great way to engage with the doc and get some more questions answered.
Hi, I'm an AI trained on Talkables Explainer deck and its broader context. Talk to me by voice like you would a person. I can personalize the content, summarize sections, read aloud, or quiz you. So what drew you to this deck?
Somebody sent it to me, and I was curious about it. Can you personalize this to me?
Oh, absolutely. I can certainly personalize this for you. To do that, could you tell me a bit about yourself, your role, your responsibilities, and what your current priorities are?
Sure. I'm the CEO and I wear a couple different hats, but I'm focused on go-to-market and top of funnel at the moment.
That's fantastic. As a CEO focused on go-to-market and top of funnel, you're right in the sweet spot for understanding how content marketing can truly drive pipeline. This section, content marketing as a pipeline generator, really dives into that. What are some of the biggest challenges you've faced in getting your content to directly contribute to your sales pipeline?
Well, we experimented early on about sending content out, thought leadership pieces, and trying to watch web viewers come to our website as well as demos come inbound. It was sort of lackluster results, to be honest.
I completely understand. It sounds like you've experienced the common challenge of content sitting silent, which is exactly what Talkables aims to solve. This section highlights how traditional methods often only give you basic download metrics and low conversion rates. With Talkables, you can actually understand engagement inside the content and convert leads right there. How do you currently measure the effectiveness of your content beyond just website visits and demo requests?
Those are the only ways that we were able to previous to Talkables, and we're very interested. Could you help me set up a demo?
Sure, I can definitely help you with that. I've opened the calendar for you now. No problem. Let me know if you change your mind. Is there anything else I can help you with regarding Talkables today?
Yeah, could we play a game? Could you quiz me on this to help me retain information?
Oh, that sounds like fun. I'd love to quiz you. We have a few options: a true or false toss-up, fill in the blank, or a lightning round. Which one sounds most interesting to you?
Let's do a lightning round, please.
All right, a lightning round it is. I'll ask you 5 rapid-fire questions about Talkables. Just give me your best answer, and we'll keep it moving. Ready for the first one? What is the main problem Talkables aims to solve regarding content?
Well, it takes static content and makes it interactive. So driving conversations is probably the main goal for Talkables.
That's absolutely right. It's all about making that static content come alive and drive real conversations. All right, second question.
I'll stop it there. You guys probably get the point. A couple things that I want to call out that we've done based off of our beta tests with our customers was adding that frequently asked command banner that appeared at the top of the Talkable at the beginning of the experience. What we heard was, hey, despite talking to Alexa and Siri every day, I never talked to a white paper. I don't know how to kick this thing off. What's the common icebreakers, right? So personalized to me, of course, a strategic one we placed in there because when you give that command, the natural sort of query from the agent is, well, I got to learn a little bit about you. So we start that qualification and discovery process right from the get-go. They share some aspects about them. You saw the agent scroll to the most relatable content within the piece, and then ask another question based off the learning objectives that I instructed it to do. From there, we engaged with the content a little bit as it guided us visually and vocally through the experience. I asked for a demo. You saw how it could bring up the calendar. We work with Chili Piper, HubSpot, Zoom, all the Calendly, all the name brand calendars that your team probably leverages. And if they don't, we can always just use your guys' book a demo button or your demo page so they can fill out the form there and it can route appropriately. I played a game with it, a quiz. This is sort of the angle of enablement that I was mentioning when you're serving it to your team. It's a great way for you to understand, did they absorb the content? Are they enabled and initiated to have these conversations with their clients? I've been talking a ton. I want to make sure that my co-founders are able to participate in the conversation. Ben, what haven't I shared that's important takeaways in your mind?
You know, the idea of content has always been subject matter expertise, and how can we give the halo effect that good, credible, editorially led content can offer? When when we use a standard flat file like a PDF to be able to disseminate that information, you know who's downloaded it, but you never know how they feel about it. You never understand the sentiment. You never know where they spent time on page, what questions they might have about that. It's never been able to help build a proposal or really truly do anything else. I've spent my entire career around content marketing, content syndication, things of that nature. And that's always been one of those biggest questions is what did they actually think about it? Did they share it? How did all of that engagement happen? And so the alternative to Talkables today is you have a prospect, they come to your page or they download some content from one of your content syndication partners. They maybe load it into ChatGPT and they say, summarize this thing for me. And they get a few sentences, they make their snap decision based on that information and they move on. And you never know anything about it. You weren't helpful in the education process. With Talkables, one of the most important things to me, because I have a different learning style than others maybe, is that I'm able to look at the content. I'm able to engage with a infinitely patient tutor about the content, and they're able to move this back and forth to me. And one of the coolest things I think is not only can it help really truly educate, but it'll understand based on your prospect's browser settings what language they prefer to speak. And it'll immediately start speaking Japanese or German or French or whatever that language may be that they're most comfortable in. So what I am so proud of is how it opens the aperture to all different learning styles, to all different people from all different walks of life, wherever they come in to the experience. So I think we really are able to solve the problems of how did somebody feel about this content? Are we able to credibly help them move on in their decision-making process, even if that disqualifies us because our product isn't a good fit for what they're trying to solve for today? And then for the output, now we have, and we'll show you this in just a moment, but we have person level intent. We directionally understand what this individual at this point in time cares about. And to me as a seller, to me as a person who's carried a bag my entire career, that's gold, because now I can understand how I can meaningfully help that person move forward, do a great job, and sit down at the end of the day across the table from their person and say, today was a good day. Today I did something cool. Today I did something interesting. Today I helped move my business forward. And I don't think that big aspiration is unreachable when we have products like this today.
One thing that I wanted to do before I show the output analysis that Ben kind of teed up there is show that this is on a canvas. It's zoomable, it's scrollable. The individual, even if they don't speak, they're able to access your content, and we'll show you an output how we are detecting where they land, sort of a heat mapping their interest, if you will. But what I want to tee up, and not to sell futures too much, is there's additional content that can be added to these boards, these canvases. You can dump case studies in here and videos, and agents can curate all of this information to address the topics and interest that the participant is exuding. One thing that cannot be underplayed is what Ben said. Everybody learns differently. We don't all learn from page 1 to page 10, right? Some people like to start in the middle and work their way out. Talkables allows them to have a personalized, curated experience with your content, matching the best ways that they learn and like to consume content. Let me go out of here and we'll show you what is received back after conversations are had. I'll click on Ben's conversation. He had a 7-minute and 30-second conversation. It's actually not too long in our experience. We're seeing people, the record currently is 24 minutes and 10 seconds, which somebody just had the other day with one of our customers' piece of content. But 12 minutes, 10 minutes, people are engaging with the content. Some people are even leveraging it on their way home, on their commute home, and talking to it through their phone, obviously, and Apple CarPlay. And there's not a visual aspect because that would be dangerous, but they are still engaging with the content, learning about it, and moving from there. You can see which pages they were on and how long they were on these pages. And again, as I said, even if they don't speak with the agent, we understand where their eyes went and their attention went and where it didn't go. So we can infer for you, hey, it's likely that Andy cares about 1, 2, 3 and doesn't care about 4, 5, 6. And here's the best way to approach Andy when you reach out to that individual. We also send via Slack and Salesforce and email a summarized tear sheet of the conversation. So you can see how that conversation with Ben went. It's broken down into the sales methodology of your choice, whether it's MEDPICS, Spiced, Medic, DAP, Solutions, on and on. We'll break it down into that methodology and we'll get it into your Salesforce or HubSpot instance. So all of your lead routing and workflows work with the information and you're able to get this in front of the seller so they can react expeditiously to speaking with the prospect or customer. Again, you can see the page visits, what their main interests were when they were on those page views. This is, again, with conversation or without conversation.
So if I could just hop in there for a sec, Brandon. What's the alternative? The alternative is basic business card information with a singular line that says this person downloaded this thing. And what does that mean? And did they really look at it? Did they not look at it? Did they spend any time with it? Were they curious? Were they not? It enables a deeper conversation. If we're able to take this big chunk of discovery and compress it down to an asynchronous conversation with your asset, the very first time you get on the phone with that individual, the first time you get on that Zoom with the individual, you don't have to talk about what college they went to. You don't have to talk about the weather. You can get into the heart of it. And when we think about any type of buying decision, know that that individual has 50 other things that are on their mind and 50 other priorities. So while you have their attention, while you've captured it, while you have them on the conversation, whether it's a Zoom or a phone call or whatever it may be, you're able to be crisp, direct, and to the point about the things that they care about. And you're able to even use the language that they've used throughout this conversation. So part of what Brandon and I wanted to do as we were creating these tear sheets, the concept was, what is that lead look like that we always wish we could have gotten? What is that lead that our friends in marketing always wish they could have delivered? And when you think about a tear sheet that looks like this, with the dimension, this is Technicolor, this is full 360-degree profile about this individual at this point in time around this concept. And that is just incredibly valuable for you, for the user, for everybody.
Couple other things, and then we'd love to open it up to Q&A, is what was important to us was to make this incredibly easy for you to bring in, activate with AI, and get out to your prospects, customers, your audience to engage with them. So there's many different ways that you can activate your audience with Talkables. We've, of course, got a link that would include your guys' company's name and your document's name. And you can easily, email ones and twosies from here, or just share it with your newsletter or a LinkedIn post. If there's a physical event that you're at that you'd like to draw participation from, QR code on a sandwich board or wherever is really a great way to initiate that. And then finally, one of our new ways is with an embed. These can be brought onto your website on your resource library, and under the banner of interactive content, people can initiate right into it. We have a content hub coming. Think sort of Netflix or any of those other streaming services where you have all the cards of your content that's scrollable and interactive and sortable and organized. You will be able to drag all of your content library into Talkables, and all of it will emerge on your website through our HubSpot, through our Content Hub embed on your website. So making it easy to get in and get out to everybody. Let me just see if that brochure that we were working on has gotten much further. If not, it's because we've got so many people dragging Talkables into that. It does look like it is. We can have a conversation with this beautiful piece of content now. You can see that it drew those boxes over everything, and it understands what everything is, and is capable of holding a really great conversation, one that you would be proud of, to bring your content in the best light possible. I think we've covered most bases, if not all bases. We would love to answer any questions or show off any of the features that you guys are interested in. Paul, I know you came off mute early on. Do you still have a question that we can help with?
Doing such a great job with the demo. I think you're just already answering everybody's questions.
Scott's usually ripe for a question. Scott, anything top of mind for you? Can you see how this could be leveraged within organizations? Looks like you're still muted, but permitted to talk. Came in the chat. Sure, looks like you're focused mostly on content marketing. True, and more than that. Content marketing is the most ripe for what we've provided. They've already developed the content. They're already trying to get interest and engagement off the back of the content, and we can help with that. We can automate that. We can take a content marketer and make them a demand gen leader, right? They can be giving awesome conversational leads to their sales team as a result of their content. But that's not the only application, as you're teeing up right there, Scott. We have a client that's added AI demo to their homepage of their website. And once somebody clicks that button, they're greeted with a spokesperson, right? A talkable spokesperson on top of their content that takes their sales deck and brings it to life. If you have an option to speak with a rep and you're just sort of partially curious about the product and want to see if it's a fit, or you can do that with an agent and have a quick conversation when you want to on your mobile phone at 11 p.m. Well, this option is the only one that's going to be able to interact with you then and there, right? So that's what we're trying to bring to life, is a new doorway of access, so more people can walk through into your business, have a conversation that's been shared, figure out if there's a fit there, and the agent can be helpful at escalating the ones that deserve to go to the next steps to the next steps. The ones that DQ, that's a conversation that your sales team, your costly sales team, didn't have to have.
Brandon, can you show how it works with charts and graphs? That was Paul's question.
Certainly.
Hi, I'm an AI trained on onboard AI. Hey, I'm back. How can I help you?
Hey, I noticed some charts and graphs in this content. Can you take me to one, show me one, and talk to me about it?
Sure, I can do that. I've scrolled to a section that shows a table breaking down time allocation in meetings. It highlights percentages for areas like corporate control and fiduciary, strategy and shaping, and decision making. It also details specific time spent on things like approving agendas and financial reports.
Amazing. If I were to stay silent for 14 seconds, the bot would detect what page I'm on and ask if I'm curious about the page's contents. I can accelerate that a little bit by just saying, hey, can you tell me about this page that I'm on?
Absolutely. This page, page 6, focuses on how onboard AI helps with smarter prep and risk evaluation. It highlights features like AI-enabled prep pathways for personalized read time estimates and executive summaries, and how Book AI provides context by surfacing related discussions and documents. You'll also find information about evaluating risks and reducing exposure, along with some financial overview titles.
Got another question from Scott in here, and the question's about the overly enthusiastic British accent. Can that be configured or modified in any way? And the answer is absolutely yes. Let me go to the entry form. So both you as an admin can alter these and configure these settings, but so can the participant if they come through the entry form, depending on the mood that they're on. If they're in a chill mood, we're going to match them with a voice that matches their mood. We're also, gamification is something that we think a lot about, and we want to culturally match where they're at. So if they're in, for example, an Arabic speaking country, in a business setting, it's best to speak to the same gender. So we will match, we'll look at their first name, determine the likely gender, and then match with the correct one. We are speaking with an English bot via the preview button inside of the application. But if I was to go put in Brandon, and I'll just do it for you.
Hi, I'm an AI trained on Talkables live demos.
Another British accent that sounds so great, but in this case, it was a female accent. Seeing some questions come in. Andy, can you go through what those are?
Yeah. So the most recent one right now is, what type of client training and enablement is provided to aid your clients with the adoption of Talkables?
What we do with all of our customers is create a Slack channel so we can have communication throughout the day whenever it's easiest for you to speak with us on how we can help provide enablement to you so you can enable your prospects and customers via Talkables. We do weekly meetings. It's a white glove founder-led treatment that we provide on all of our customers, trying to learn from you and the use cases that you guys use with Talkables, so we can build our roadmap. I hope that answers your question, JP.
I'd also just add that the setup is dead easy. It's just a drag and drop. You put in a couple learning objectives and then the rest just happens. So the learning curve, the integration time, the setup, all of those are minutes. And then it really becomes a function of use this for yourself and you will understand how it works. So the first deployment typically would be load the white paper, send it to the sales team, send it to the CX team, send it to the product marketers, to the content marketers, let them engage back and forth themselves, feel how it works. Sure, you can give them some prompts. You can ask them for a demo. You can ask them to personalize it. You can, ask them to help build a proposal, whatever the case may be. But it really is one of these things that the best way to learn it is to experience it for yourself and prompt back and forth and actually have a conversation with your own content that you're already an expert on that world. Now you have an ability to be able to engage with it differently. And I saw a question, are you able to personalize the voice even further? For example, sending a recording of yourself to make the voice sound not as human and more humanized.
It's something that we can do. Absolutely. We can clone your voice if that's something that you would want to be in the experience. The other question that I often get is, what context is the AI trained on? And it's trained on the content that you provided access to, and optionally also your company description and your ICP, your likely ICP. So as I was showing you the conversations that come back into Peel, you can see a fit score, a judgment on how good they fit with your ICP. And we give an argument as to why it's a 5 out of 5 or 2 out of 5 or 4 out of 5, whatever it may be. And that's, again, based off of what we think your ICP is. Those things are editable and configurable by you, and we can even customize the fit score based off of how you would like to see it reflected. That's a common question, so I just wanted to get that out in advance. If there's no more questions, let's get 3 minutes back in our day. I think we covered all the bases. Andy, Ben, is there anything else that we didn't cover that we should have?